what do you think makes Shades of Grey so popular?
Oh, I have no idea, I'm just sort of thinking, what happened? I think basically women love to read a passionate love story, and it is a passionate love story before anybody says anything else. But one of my biggest problems was to make the sex look as tasteful and classy as possible. It's very coyly written in the book. There's no salacious language, and I think that's what women respond to. They don't like seeing ugly slang words, so which is normally associated with erotica.
I think it's because of the fairy tale love story. I think it's how beautiful the love that these two people have for each other is.
It's obviously untapped, sort of a side of mostly women, let's be honest, that maybe just hadn't been explored before, or there's a sort of repressed thing within certain women in certain parts of the world that they haven't allowed themselves to explore that. And, that type of sex, like S&M sex, hasn't really been in the mainstream before.
Now, there's always going to be a slight differences when a book changes to become a film.
Yes.
What would you say the main differences are between the book and the film?
This is a lot shorter. We had to take a lot out just to, if we put everything in, it would have been a sort of 5-hour movie. So
I wish it was.
And also, there's problems securing some locations and timings and all of this kind of stuff. We shot it in February. It's supposed to be May. There's all those little bits and pieces.
I don't know. It just feels pretty sort of married to the book. But maybe some of the scenes where as written and when you're seeing them must possibly feel very different. It's that thing, how do you satiate the appetite of 100 million fans or however many? I mean, there's so many people with expectations, but also in their minds, it's going to be so different. You know how it is. You read the book. It's your vision.
I think it's so funny. Do you know what I mean? There's so much comedy in it.
There's a lot of humour in it, and that came not at the beginning. It came throughout the process because both Jamie and Dakota are so funny. They both have such good humour, and so we started to work with it and put it more and more in, and it just really helps balance the darkness.
What were your prerequisites? And you said, I really want to keep those bits.
There were a couple of the major scenes I wanted to keep. The elevator kiss. I wanted to keep the white wine scene. I wanted to keep lots of bits and pieces. But one of my biggest problems was to make the sex look as tasteful and classy as possible.
Now, obviously, when you work with another creative, such as Sam, authors and directors, you have your different visions.
Yes.
How was it working with her?
It was difficult at times. I mean, she had a very particular vision. I have already lived the world and seen the world and been in the world for 3 or 4 years. But I think, any healthy creative process, you have discussions, you have disagreements, and you iron it out. And my priority was to make sure that the fans were honoured throughout all of this. There's a huge, passionate fan base for these films, and I wanted to make sure that they were happy.
Were there any injuries on set?
I think Dakota she's sort of been vocal about how she was bruised up after a couple of days, when stuff got a little bit real, maybe in the Red Room. But no, I don't think I injured myself ever. No, Dakota probably came out of it worse.
Just a tad bit worse.
Yeah. I mean, I trip a lot, so my self-inflicted ones, and then I got whiplash, minor whiplash.
How?
Because Jamie was throwing me on a bed, but we did 17 takes, so my head just snapped back all day. And then I woke up and couldn't move my neck, which was really terrible. And some bruises and some welts here and there.
Now, I heard that 50% of the love scenes in the book were cut out for the film. Were we consciously trying to make it a little less raunchy?
No, not at all. I think what we were trying to do was what was important for me was that each sex scene had its own character, because I didn't want that feeling of, oh, here they go again, I wanted each one to have its own sort of very different nature, character, and approach. And so it was just sort of going through the book and finding ones that were, sort of had a kind of, encapsulated a different vision in a way.
Was it difficult to get that balance right, though?
I think we got the balance Absolutely right. And it was important for me that it's not sex, 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 sex all the way, because the books aren't sex, sex, sex all the way. You know, they really aren't. Everyone thinks, oh, it's all for... It isn't.
It's the dialogue and the emails.
Yes, and, you know, it's the relationship, it's the banter between the two that people are drawn to.